All right, in this video we're going to be talking about Whey-Pro and Whey-Iso. What's the difference between the two? If I want to buy a protein, Tony, I come to the website. How should I use it? When should I use it? What's the difference between the two? Which one's better for me? All right, we're going to start with Whey-Pro to start. So Whey-Pro is basically going to be a blend, all right? A blend of whey protein. So you're going to have whey protein concentrate in there. You're going to have some whey protein isolate in there. And then you're going to have whey protein peptides in there, okay? The peptides, I'll start with the back ones first. Peptides in there basically is a fancy term for pre-digested, meaning they're somewhat broken down already, so when you ingest it, it's going to be absorbed really quickly. All right, from there you have whey protein isolate. All right, whey protein isolate is essentially the cleanest form of protein there is on the market, meaning everything's been filtered out through there, so there's minimal dairy, there's minimal lactose, there's minimal byproducts, there's minimal fat in there, so it's has high absorption rate. So a lot of people really like that if they have stomach issues, if they have sensitive stomachs, if they have issues when it comes to lactose, if they're lactose intolerant, and they may want to use it as well if they just like something where they want to put it in a shaker cup, stir it with a spoon, and they want something that dissolves and breaks down really easily. All right. So, and then from there you have whey concentrate, which is the predominant, or is the dominant source of the whey protein in here. So what ends up happening is, why would someone want to use whey concentrate? Whey concentrate is good for someone on a budget. Number one, if you're trying to get big, or you're trying to get results and your money's kind of tight, use something with a whey concentrate. For most people, that's more than enough to do what it is they're looking to do. On top of it, it does have the necessary amino acid profiles you need in there for maximum muscle building. So it's good in the morning, it's good after a workout, it's good for everything you're looking to use it for. All right. Also, because it has the concentrate in there, it's going to be a little bit thicker and it's going to gel a little bit more, which means it's going to slowly absorb a little bit. It's going to slow the absorption down a little bit, which for you is basically going to mean you can use it as a meal replacement too, because it's going to burn at a much slower rate in your system. So it's good before bed and things like that. While we're on that topic, pure casein proteins are something I've never utilized. I know Jason's never utilized them. Casein's kind of, in my opinion, respectfully, a waste of money. All right, it's great. You know, you'll see a lot of articles and meal plans out there where people tell you to take it before bed because of slow absorption. If you're really worried about absorption with either the Whey-Pro or the Whey-Iso, go ahead and ingest your whey protein with some fats. If you do that, it's going to slow the absorption down all on its own. While I'm on that thought process, I figured it out a long time ago. If you take multivitamins and you ingest them with fat, guess what's going to happen? When you go take a urine, it's not going to be as yellow because the fats in there are going to stop and immobilize some of the way your vitamins dissolve. So basically, taking fats in with anything is going to slow the absorption rate. So it's a really good idea. So that's what Whey-Pro is and kind of who it's for. So Whey-Iso, who's Whey-Iso going to be for? Well, basically Whey-Iso can be used by everybody, men, women, teenagers, football players, you name it, all right? It's my preference. I've always liked isolates, not always because I had a stomach issue or anything like that, but just I like the absorbability of it. If you're a person who makes smoothies and you like shakes and you like stuff that's super, super thick, you may be better off with Whey-Pro because it's going to have a little bit more thickness to it. But the Whey-Iso is basically super cross-filtered, so what ends up happening is it's nothing but truly whey protein isolate, okay? So it's predominantly lactose-free, dairy-free, and has a high absorption rate. So realistically, when this hits your bloodstream within about 12 minutes of you taking it. It can be taken in a shaker cup, it can be mixed with other things. How do you go ahead and use whey proteins? We used a lot of different ways, okay? I'm just going to kind of keep it to our theme of what we are as a company, which is helping people get results, and a lot of times helping people put on a lot of muscle in a really short period of time. There's 3 times a day where shakes are a really good idea. And depending on your meal frequency and how much protein you're already taking in and how hard you train in your goals, this may differ a little bit slightly. But typically, a shake when you get up in the morning is a great idea, even before you have your first meal, especially if you're somebody that isn't really hungry in the morning. My number one thing to always make was whey protein. Back in the day, I was doing 3 scoops at a time, 3 scoops of protein with a cup and a half of dried oats. I'd let that sit for about an hour or so, and that's what I would have for breakfast, and maybe even pour some oil in there, or MCT oil, or coconut oil, for those of you who aren't familiar with that, and then it's a full-blown meal replacement for me, and I could take that with me on my way to work as I'm sitting in traffic. So a shake when you get up is a great idea. A shake after you train is typically a really good idea, and something I did for a really long time, but I'm going to get back to that in a moment. And a shake before bed is always a really good idea as well, especially if you're, eating a big meal at 7, you don't go to bed till around 11 or something like that because you're watching TV. Have a shake before bed. It's going to curb your appetite. It's going to make you eat a little bit less junk food if that's something you're prone to, especially if you put a banana or a half a banana and some peanut butter in there with something like the chocolate. That's going to taste really good. To get back though to typically the shake that's most important would be the one that's post workout, because that's going to switch your body from a muscle destroying environment to a muscle building environment and enhance your recovery. What you're going to be looking for is a caveat with that. If you're taking anabolic, which I hope you are because it's our capstone product, if you're taking the anabolic, you may or may not need the whey protein, okay? Because the anabolic, if you're using 1 scoop or 1.5 scoops or 2 scoops, has the majority of the muscle building building blocks you need in it already. So you don't really need to take a whey protein with it. If you do, probably going to potentially get a little bit more results. That's what I would do as someone that was trying to hit 200 and 290 pounds or something. But if you're someone just, trying to put on 7 or 8 pounds, for most people, 95% of our clients, just the conventional anabolic post-workout's more than efficient. If you're not using the anabolic, then I strongly recommend, if you're going to be taking a shake, start with one after you train, and then decide if you need one in the morning or at night, depending on your habits. So if you have any other questions, feel free to hit us up on the website. We got a lot of these in a whole bunch of flavors. The Whey-Iso is going to be in a chocolate and vanilla. Once again, both mix really good with everything, and they're great on their own. The Whey-Pro, you can have a little bit more options. So you can go with the snickerdoodle, you can go with the strawberry cheesecake, you can go with the chocolate, and you can go with the vanilla.